I tell you, that was went on the road was a tough one, but it never is just one play. You look at that game, and you look at the opportunities we had throughout the football game to score some points, to make some stops. I was really proud of our team's effort. You can't go on the road and get into the red zone, settle for 2 field goals. We got to come away with points, but we did score on 4 straight drives. It was 2 field goals and 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. Defensively, in the second half, the defense held Marshall to 111 total yards. Our offense in the third quarter was just roaring alive, and we got to the fourth quarter, made some mistakes, had 2 turnovers, and you can't make those on the road. Had an opportunity to win it and just made more mistakes than they did, and we can't do that and win a game on the road. But I am very proud of the effort these young men play with. I thought Sam McGuffey probably had his finest game running the ball, and I'll sure put that ball in his hands again at the end of a game to try to win it. It didn't come down to that play. There's a whole lot of football plays in a game. We're making progress. We're better than we were a year ago. It's just not showing up in the win-loss column right now. But these young men have come over here today, and they will work hard, and they will work to represent themselves in this university the best they can. And just, you hit these, at this point last year, we're 1-5. Right now we're 2-4, had an opportunity to be 3-3. Let it slip away, and you just got to keep working. And what we're not doing good, we got to get better at, and what we're doing good, we got to get great at. But I expect them to come over here today and work hard. And got Tulsa coming to town. They're 3-3. They're a good football team, and we'll play hard, and we'll do our best to win it.
Could you have an update on Taylor?
I won't until this afternoon, and he will. The neurologist will look at him this afternoon, and when it comes to a concussion, it'll be him and Chris Jammer. The neurologist makes all the when they come back and when they don't. So when we get his report, we'll know a lot more.
So that's, off of right after the game, I know he got checked out. Did you have anything to go on off of that, or you?
Well, he still had still had some symptoms after the game. He did come by yesterday. He looked pretty good. Still had a slight headache. But like I said, I'll know a whole lot more this afternoon when they get back from the neurologist.
Is your secondary plan to pull the red shirt off the practice, or do you have any contacts?
We've talked, plan A, B, and C all the way through thoroughly.
At what point during the week do you have to make that decision?
Well, I think we'll have so much more information, MK, this afternoon, that I think we'll be able to make one sooner and not later.
When you looked at the film from the game yesterday, and you knew going in that Vinny Curry was going to be a handful, and you knew the chances were pretty good they were going to run a lot with A.J. Graham at quarterback, where do you think the breakdowns came in terms of preparing for those 2 specific players?
Well, Curry just he's incredible. Had 3.5 sacks. We slid to him. We did a lot of nice things to try to stop him. I think he played probably his finest football game he's played. I think, my hat's off to a young man just for the effort that he did play with. He had the caused fumble at the end of the game, and he's gone a long way to make those plays. We ran some read plays at him to get him out of that, and he'd get right back involved. The quarterback, 73 of those yards were not, 7 of them were scrambles. They weren't called runs. That's hard. We know was a good foot athlete going into it. You just, got to work on your lane integrity and taking those run lanes away from it. As far as the run game with him, I thought we really did a pretty nice job.
Is it particularly frustrating, to the point you made about Curry? You've done a lot of things necessary to try and take him out of the game, and you still have some influence on the outcome of it.
Well, I really think structurally we did everything we could protection-wise, sliding to him, trying to do different things to disrupt him. He would still just get around the corners fast, and at some time you just, the timing of routes, you got to get rid of the football. And that's, he's a fine player, and he played probably one of the best games he's ever played.
You made a point after the game about program-wise having to do certain things to get over that proverbial hump. But what can be done in preparation, in practice, to where when you play that well in the third quarter, it carries over in the fourth, and you guys finish a game? Like,
Well, I think, yeah, you know, MK, I think one of the things, talking to some of the players and the coaches, I think one of the things we do is we want to win so bad that in the fourth quarter, sometimes we try to play outside of the schemes, and we try, when you start pressing, nothing good happens when you press. And I think, you know, you even look back to the Memphis game where we had some turnovers in that one. And I think, you know, you're up, we know we have an opportunity to win. And when you're pressing in the game of any sports, when you're pressing, you're not the player you are. You know, you got to treat it like you're in the backyard having fun, you know. And I think sometimes that's, you know, we've identified that, you know, we have to continue to work on closing games out and staying within the scheme and relying on technique and fundamentals and just, you know, keeping it. You know, Sam has never had a contact fumble since he's been here. That's what I mean. I'll give him that ball every time. But I think Sam just wanted to win, you know, so bad. And that's why we're going to continue to give him the football, though. I think, you know, we'll all learn valuable lessons as we go on. And we are. We're a much better football team than we were a year ago. Much better.
With receivers, Mario made 2 great catches there in the second half to kind of extend drive. So where is he in terms of, I mean, you got guys like Vance and stuff, Dante, and where does he fit in all this? Or?
Well, I mean, his stock's going up. I mean, he's making plays when we get him the ball. He had, you know, that great catch in the third quarter where he went up and got it, and he also about took one the entire way if they don't hit his heel. So we think he's a big play guy. It's going to get better, you know, with each rep and every game that he plays. I was really, you know, proud of him too. He flew in, his grandmother had passed away, and he flew in early Saturday morning, and he really played well.
Did you need to give him some time to kind of adjust, even on game day, just being back around the scene? Because obviously that's a very traumatic situation.
Yeah, you know what though, both the young men whose grandmothers passed away, what they wanted more than anything was to be around the team and be around the people that loved them, and they both said that's where their grandmothers wanted them to be. And so Mario came right in and just, you know, went to the meetings.
So, I guess it was before, Denzel was in there. Was there anything with Jammer? Or?
Jammer suffered a concussion in that one also.
You guys are halfway through the season, and you kind of alluded to it a second ago. Are you at a loss for how you continue to move forward with the offensive personnel? Because obviously no one expected that side of the ball to be as inconsistent or struggling to the level they've struggled thus far. What's the next solution for you?
I think I think McCards continues to improve. We're down. MK, I think it's 5 turnovers from a year ago. We're up a point a game from we were a year ago. We're making progress. It's not as fast as any of us want, but we're better offensively than they were. And that's, you know, we all hoped, you know, we'd be a little bit better. But I also think we are so close to being a big play offense. I mean, we're inches away on this block and inches away on this run to where, you know, we're extremely close. We had some nice explosive plays in that game, and we're close to getting a lot more. You know, it's just what you always talk about. These young men are dedicated to getting this football team better. They're committed to getting this football team better. They watch the same videos we do, and, you know, they know what each and every one of them has to do to get better, and they come over here, and that's what we're trying to do. Are we where we want to be? No, we're an absolute work in progress after 6 games, but we are improving.
Is that a matter of execution in your mind, or do you still need some personnel?
No, I think mostly it's execution. I think, you know, John Hody played a pretty good game. I was proud of the way John played. You know, John is somebody that has worked hard in practice, and when he got the opportunity, made the best of it.
Is that a fluid situation with him and in that position? Or?
Well, you hope not. You know, you hope but it's like anything in football. you know, you gotta produce when you get the time to play, and you're a starter as long as you're the best one here.
No, I guess what I meant was, what you saw from him, do you go into this week with staying with that, or do you? Okay.
Yeah,
As
John
far as
played, he was solid.
And on Devon, how did he?
He did well. He did well on his ankles, yeah, held up very well.
To your point about the team pressing in those fourth quarter situations, is that resolved through dialogue from you?
I think it starts with, yeah, it starts with me. It starts to identifying it, that, you know, that we just gotta continue when we get in those situations on the sideline to talk to them about, you know, we gotta have fun. You gotta treat it like you're in the backyard. You don't have to do anything outside the scheme. It's where your fundamentals, MK, and technique have to come in, and to trust, you know, even defensively at that point, to stay within the scheme, you know, and do your 1/11th and then go help. You know, you can't decide at that point. You got to try to make every tackle, you know, to win this game. You got to keep trusting what we're doing. You got to trust your teammates.
Moving forward, Coach, you especially the next two games, you have offenses, high tempo, like to do a lot of things. Do you? I guess it gets risky to try to get into a shootout type situation. As far as what you do you try to slow it down? I mean, how do you equalize, you know, those offenses that you're about to face?
Well, that's, you know, one of the things that, you know, and we're just now studying what Tulsa does, obviously, but you know what Houston does is you try to run an offense somewhat to keep the ball out of their hands. You know, Tulsa's 3-3. They've been beat by Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Boise, and they've beat North Texas, UAB, and Tulane. You know, we'll watch all the video and see what we need to do to slow them down, and see what we need offensively to keep the ball out of their hands.
Back on McCard, it hasn't been I mean, he's not a turnover machine by any means, but as far as when dealing with your quarterback, do you ever suggest, you know, whether it's a glove or something? I mean,
Just saying, he grips the ball, he got a bad grip on it. Just, you know, it's part of the fundamentals and technique we're talking about. You know, and he played a pretty good football game. You know, it's a shame that happened at the end, because he was pretty solid. He continues to improve each week.
Anything else? We can turn it up.
Turner?